Okay, so if you have a Mac, we're going to go through the installation process for Brackets. If you already have Chrome installed, great. If not, well, the installation to install Chrome is pretty straightforward, but with Brackets, it's going to be a little harder. So let's go ahead and go through the process. The first thing you want to do is make sure you go to brackets.io. .io is a tech level TLD. We'll learn what TLDs are in Chapter 1. But first thing you want to do is go to brackets.io using your favorite internet browser. And from that, you should see a big blue button here that says Download Brackets 1.13. That's just what I'm seeing today. It may be something different tomorrow. Go ahead and click that. If for some reason this blue button does not work, you can click the Other Downloads link, which will take you to a GitHub page. If you're not familiar with GitHub, this is basically where developers, like you and me, will put a lot of their files and projects for other people to download. In this case, we're looking for the .dmg file. That is the file type that allows for Macs to have things installed on it. You don't want the .msi or the .deb or even the source code, unless you know exactly what you're doing. In this case, download the .dmg, and that should be appropriate for your system. Again, wait a few minutes, and it should be properly downloaded. Once it is downloaded, go ahead and double click on the file, or it may automatically pop up. And just like most Mac installations, just drag that icon into the Applications folder. Once that is done, open up your applications, and it should be right there. Let's go ahead and open that up. Alright, once Brackets gets up and going, you may see some files on the left, such as index.html, main.css, and quickedit.png. If you click on one of those, it'll automatically open. And if you can't understand any of this, don't worry, we'll go over through it through the rest of the semester, and by the end, you should be able to understand most, if not all of it. Now let's go ahead and configure Brackets so it's a little easier to use. The first thing we want to do is install Brackets Preferences. So go to the far right side where it has a little Lego thing, click on it, and the first thing we want to do is go to the search bar and type in Preferences. Hopefully the first one that pops up is Brackets Preferences by Conrad Lipner. Pops up. If you don't already have it installed, it's going to ask you to install it and go through that process. I already have it installed, so we're not going to go through that. Next thing you want to do is install Indent Guides by Lance Campbell. Click Install, and it's going to give you this. If it doesn't give you the installation successful, go ahead and click Install, and then click Close. Next thing you want to do is install Beautify by Drew Hamlet. Install, and Close. Next is W3C Validation by UMOXFO. Install. And the last thing that you want to do is install a spell checker. You'll be very surprised how many people do not run a spell checker on their code. You want to get the Alice Spell Checking by John Koster. Install. And download dictionaries. Okay, and close. Now, we just need to configure Brackets to make sure that things run well versus having to get things being confused. So to modify Brackets preferences, instead of going up to the Brackets menu item saying Preferences, instead go to View and then Preferences. It'll make things a lot easier. So once here, where it says automatically close brackets, braces, and parentheses, you want to uncheck that. The reason for that is once you start typing in HTML, it's going to want to automatically complete the code for you, which is nice, but a pain to deal with. Next, when it says close tags when opening, you want to change that to false. Make sure to keep the comma at the end. Last but not least, check drag and drop text. Lastly, click Save. Next, you want to go back to View and press Indent Guides. Okay, the majority of that, you're pretty much set up. Now, one thing that you may want to use is something on the far right side called Live Preview, which is great. However, it is a little buggy. So when you start writing your code like this and you click Live Preview, it's going to try to open up a Chrome version for you. But when you start typing stuff in, it's going to automatically refresh and make things a little hard, especially if you're trying to debug something. So I would recommend turning Live Preview off, making the little lightning bolt gray. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to Chapter 1. If you have any questions, please let me know either in email or in Twitter, and I'll help you work through it.